Okay, that's fine. One person. All right, one person. It only shows one, but the stupid camera won't go on. There it goes. Now I have 16 people watching. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 16 people. Better turn this off before they say copyright infringement or something, even though it doesn't look like it's part of an album. You know what an album is, don't you? You know what an album is. All right, Hamster comes on in 8 minutes. Let's just go down a rundown of the prices. So we have a reference, ZJYL, 127, monster. I forget which one of you guys pointed it out, but that went as high as 190 today. And it was only as low as at 108. I guess it started, I don't know, started at 11 on Monday or something like that. All right, GDC, which is the one that I thought might go today. Oh, by the way, on ZJYL, the volume is 210K. It's not that huge. Anyway, GDC, $3.12, but it was as high as 359, which is somewhere, you know, that when you look at the moving averages, 359 breaks through them all. So I think the stock is telling you where it wants to go, and they're just you know, trying to head fake. Anyway, a volume 735,000. I'm just going through the 10 most recent. MULN 10 cents, 1031, 71 million shares. MMAT 0.0714, 3 million shares. Logic is 0.0259, 138,000 shares. Oh, that's a good boy. I'm trying to get him to sleep here. Poor guy. I think he's very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. He gets excited when we walk and he goes trick-or-treating for treats. But otherwise, I think his life is very boring. Anyway, can't do much about it right now. 0.0259. The volume is 138,000. And local, I don't know why I still have this here. 0.0095, up 0.0005, 1.2 million shares. GTII, 0.4001, down 0.0099, 218,000 shares. Gonna fly me to the moon. We can dance among the stars. 3.85 on Finger, up 9 cents. CAUD, down 12 cents to 128, 258,000. Obviously trying to get it under $1. CLNV, 0.0376, down 0.0029, 2 million shares. So those were the 10 I had. And, you know, we've got about, I don't know where I put that calendar I was showing you. I must have it here somewhere. But we've got basically Looking for my calendar. We've got calendars. Done. We've got today, tomorrow, and Thursday as full days this week, half day Friday. Next week, if I'm reading this correctly, the 26th, is Kwanzaa. I don't think the market's closed. So the 26th is Kwanzaa, but we've got 3 days next week and a half. So we've got 6.5 days left, including today. Maybe to buy some of these inexpensively. All right, let me see what's happening. Let's see what's happening, if anything. Yeah, I bought GDC yesterday. Unfortunately, I had to sell something I didn't want to sell. I didn't do very much, but I put my sell-in order in it for GDC of $41, but then I changed it. I put it in higher. We'll see what happens. It's not many shares, so it's not like it's going to rock and roll anybody's life. Eddie Eagle might have been first, although Big JR, you might have typed and been slow on the uptick in terms of punching the button. All right, 1 minute to go. So I'll run down these as he's speaking. But anyway, I'll go as far as I can. Hey, Carnegie's Painter. I want to come up to New York City where the girls are pretty. And maybe I can bring somebody and we can go through the Carnegie Museum. I would love it. You know, when I see painter, I assume you're painting the walls, but in reality, you might be painting paintings. I went to get my eyes checked and I told the guy doing it that I had a theory, which is to say it's all mine. But I've often wondered if impressionist painters just couldn't see very well. Maybe they had cataracts. Maybe they, had near vision. You can see why I am just close of insane. I have weird conspiracy theories. Hey, Steve. Hey, Richie Rich. Big JR. Well, you might have been first when you were typing. Red Pepperoni, thank you for saying hi to Lucky Boy. He's such a good guy. When he convinces me not to go this way, but to go that way across the street, he bounds across the street. His ears are flapping in his tail, and he's so happy. So he still has the puppy dog in him. Hey, John Doe and Frank. Cheers. Ryan, well, all right, you guys. A young guy like you is going to make a lot of money. Hey, the one, cutest little baby. Cutest little baby. Probably not a baby anymore, but still very cute. Hey, Mark. Blue 5. P1. Oh, I'm fuzzy. Well, fuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? I don't know why I'm fuzzy. I don't really know why I'm fuzzy. I need a new computer, Steve. That's the bottom line. That's the fact check. Well, let me see. He's called. The voice. Where is the voice? Hey, Bob David. Yeah, I think that's a good trade, P-Man. It's good risk reward. But if I could find my calendar, I could give you a picture of it. But the next couple of weeks are where the pressure is going to be, in my judgment, in a lot of these stocks. You notice the headlines say NASDAQ's hitting new highs, but it's not our NASDAQ stocks. That the term they use for that is breadth, not breath, breadth, breadth. And I forget the adjective they'd use, shallow breadth. But anyway, it's not broad breadth. It's just a few stocks going up. Hey, Mama Duck. Be kind to your web-footed friends, or a duck may be somebody's mother. Ruby. Hey, Lou. Good afternoon. I don't know where the hamster is, but let's not poke a sleeping dog. Hey, Connie. Blue 5, waiting on GDC, feeling betrayed by MULN. Well, the problem with MULN and many of these stocks, and it might happen even in a theater close to you, is the financings. They can be great CEOs, great contracts, great ideas, great teams, but if these bastards get in and sell toxic dilutive funding, the thing is that's a protection against a black swan. It's not the limit of the selling they do. They sell before the signature, probably right at the first phone call. They start selling, giving the CEO his own money, as I describe it, because they've just sold stock that doesn't exist prior to delivery. And then the CEO puts some stock at the transfer agent. I have one here we can go over after him hangs up. But that's a protection against the risk that it gets out of control. All right, here's the hamster. Hang on, relax, everybody. All right, hang on for 1 second. I've got to, for some reason, this is not set up for the speaker, which I did do. Okay, now that should be. Yeah, okay, it's set up. The voice, the audience.
All right, everybody, welcome. Again, this is Security Fraud 101. And again, this is not for trading advice. It's our opinions about what we see going on. Number one, I'll start out with GDC. I saw it popped up. I was out. It came back in. It's drifted back down. The volume is picked up, but I'm watching it like you are. I have no idea what's going on, and I'm just watching it. So as I hear anything, I'll let you know. The other stock I've been following is this Wolf for a long time. It just popped up. I put the breakdown of Bitcoin versus where Wolf was when it went higher. It popped to 216, and there's rumors on the street that Mara and Riot may acquire them. I don't know what the price is. I have no idea. I'm not long. I just wanted to. It's a Bitcoin play, and I just follow it to try to figure out Bitcoin, which I know nothing about. GTII, I see the same pattern. They just keep trying to offer it and offer it. If you notice that the selling is always there, that's the sign that it's security fraud, because it's impossible that sellers just never stop. Remember, as a long, William, you can only sell the stock. How many times can you sell it, William?
For me, I can sell it once, as my dad used to say.
There's your answer. So every minute, as soon as you take an offer, there's someone else jumps in the foxhole. It's just unbelievable how they just keep rotating it. And that is the sign that they keep trying to hold it down. They're just trying to suppress it, maybe to get someone to come out for tax loss, whatever it is, that's what they're doing. And they're doing the same thing. If you look at it, the volume's dried up, and Finger Motion, after the assaults and the prints and the fake, whatever they did, we're down to no volume again, to 168,000. They tried everything under the sun to try to knock it out, and they can't. All right. Again, no selling, accumulation, always lead to higher prices. I don't know what day, when it's going to go, but that's what I see. Okay. I wrote a text message to Mark Bazile on Twitter to get an update with Mark Bazile, and he wrote back, we are submitting the paperwork for the final judgment soon. Then it's off to Interpol and other enforcement agencies in various countries trying to track down the big rat, capybara. It's right here. You know, these guys are not going away. That's finger motion going after Capybara and the fake report. Our government, SEC, has got their head up their ass. I have no idea what they're doing. I just reposted a video of a young kid walking across the stage in the exoskeleton, and I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
And he's walking across the stage in the robot. I just want to find where exactly my exact words.
Did they crush that company?
Yes, it's paralyzed student walks across graduation stage, and he's in the robot. I've seen the robot work. It's unbelievable how it helps people.
That company needs to be destroyed. It's all hype.
It has happened already. There's two of them, and it just so happens that I've seen somebody in the robot, and I remember looking at the stock that actually I questioned this: who makes this? And the first one was EKSO, Eddie King Sam Oscar, and I seen the stock at $5. And they destroyed it. My friends bought 1 million shares at 4.5. They drove it down to pennies, then they reversed it. They kicked out the seat. You name it. It turned into a complete shit show over naked short selling. EKSO. Then there's another one, RWLK, and that happens to be funded by none other than Lynn Partners. Destroyed.
Oh, they're just doing God's work, protecting us.
Destroyed.
What's the symbol on that one? What's the symbol?
RWLK.
R-Walk?
I don't remember what the year high, what the real high was when Lynn got involved with it, but you know it was much higher than that.
Yeah.
So I don't remember that one. I was following the other one, and then I found out Lynn was doing this one. They destroy everything. Just look at the kid walking across the stage. They could care less what happens to anybody here.
And in my opinion, so could the Adriana Friedman, who runs NASDAQ, and whoever the smiling guy that runs OTC markets, I forget his name. They don't care either.
These people are a disgrace. They let it go on. And it should only happen to themselves, their family member.
Call from Mike Lucci.
Need a device like this to help them walk again. Okay, to me, it's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. It keeps going on like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
All right. So RWLK, 67 cents. Just like MULN, you can't build cars and robotics with no money. So they give you the money. They sell all the shares because we all believe that these things are tremendous technologies that are going to help and save people's lives. We buy it, and they just keep selling more and more and more until the company goes bankrupt. And they actually hang the flag up and say, hey, we funded you. Yeah, they funded you.
Well, the corollary to what you said, that you can't build cars without money, is once they destroy the denominator, you can't raise any money anymore once the cap table is destroyed.
Right.
Or you can only do it at punishing dilution. Punishing.
Right.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
No, I'm saying, so these companies all get destroyed. These companies get destroyed, and these guys all act like they're, they're doing the right thing. It's just a disgrace. Disgrace. And the SEC looks the other way, and it's standing right in front of me. And if I haven't seen someone walk in the robot and what it does, and I just saw it again, and I couldn't believe it. It's just remarkable that they don't care about it. I talked about Brazil going after getting Interpol and the other enforcement to go after Capybara. Obviously, Capybara has been robbing everybody blind. Okay, we know what they're doing. It's just unbelievable. I made some comments to the SEC. I can't remember what the hell I said. You wake up and you get angry every other day about this nonsense, and no one cares. It's just remarkable. It's just remarkable that what goes on here. Hold on, just let me see if I get it. There's an MMTLP, a change.org. If anybody, please sign it. All the signatures that if you can't help out, you want to help out. MMTLP has a petition, signed a petition. It's all over Twitter. All right, the more names, the merrier. I got everybody I know to sign it. So again, I'm just trying to honors out there trying to get things done. What was I looking for? I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I know I wrote something disgusting. I just want to make sure I find it. I says, how to report a crime at the door of the SEC. I says, how many times can we put the truck out there? And the SEC's done nothing. They found the short sellers. Hindenburg was nice enough to find the criminals in TIO, one public company.
Wow.
They found a crime. They get paid. They get compensated. The SEC shuts it down. Who knows what's going on there? And here we reported $27 trillion in crimes. Trillion. Trillion. You talk about massive trillion. We give them the names. We've done everything. And they don't say anything about it. Zero. You know? This is what I want to talk about. There's a gentleman, Jay Dilla, D-I-L-L-A. I was watching this stock yesterday. I don't know nothing about it. ZJ, Zebra, Joey, Yellow, Larry. He shorted at $58 on a parabolic move up. The brokers liquidated him at $326. So he shorted it at $58 because he thought he could be a genius shorting a stock. And this is his answer. I have nothing left anywhere. My total net worth was occurring in my account. No chance of getting my old job back or paying any bills.
This is a trader or
a trader. Someone tried to go out there and short a stock. The stock went from 11 to 58, and he wanted to go short 1,000 shares, right? And he got wiped out. And he got bought in at 326.
Oh, it's 1,000 shares. Okay.
No, I don't know what the amount of shares is. He didn't put out the shares he has. But he lost $326 minus 58. So what, he was like 270, something like that. $270 a share, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
So if he shorted 1,000 shares, he's down 270,000. It's 50. It's 500 shares. Just cut it in half. He got wiped out. And that's the danger of being on the short side. And that's the danger when the system is working correctly. He was short. He didn't have the money. The stock moved against him. No margin money. Buy him in, and they bought him in at the market. That's what happens when you play with fire. Finger motion, Lynn Partners is short over 205 million shares. 326, they would kiss the ground if finger motion stopped at 326. That's how much they're short and how big the damage is going to be. The same thing with GTII. These guys are shorting a stock at 41 cents, where the upside is infinite. But the system is broken. We need law enforcement to come in here, smack the SEC in the face, and start locking people up. That's how this has to end. And it will end like that.
The Kramers are good people. Jeff
These
Easton's
are
a
good
good
people.
guy.
This poor guy wanted to play the equity markets, and he got reamed big time. Now I don't want to laugh at him, but again, how many times have I told everyone, when you play on the short side, you have unlimited liability, and there's your answer. All right, that's why you buy options. You can buy puts, because if you want to take a shot on the downside, you just lose your investment or whatever you wanted to gamble with. When you short the stock, look what happens. And that is the system working. It works for retail. If you short a stock, you don't have the money, they buy you in. If you're a naked short, an LLC, they let you keep playing. And that's when you have that unlimited leverage, which Susan Trimbath had posted. There's $12 billion backing $250 billion of trades. So they're putting up pennies. Okay, what is it, 5%? William, was that what you said yesterday?
It was 5%. She wrote it in her post too.
Right. So they're putting up pennies and controlling these massive positions, and the liability is off the charts. And that's what they're all deadly afraid of. What you just read about this idiot shorting this stock. And Jay today is that basically a retail guy being a smart ass thinking that, you don't think we all know he's a short squeezes? He wanted to come out there like the big boys. He wanted to be, he's probably a descendant of Timothy Sykes. Timothy Sykes likes to short, but Timothy Sykes would never short a stock that's on the run because he can't stop it if it goes up. They only short stocks that are going sideways that they can attack. All right, that's what the shorts Timothy Sykes does. They don't go out there and play because they know the playing field is level. It's even at that point. When you get involved in this, but that's whatever that stock was, and it runs up $50 or $100, they can't maintain their positions at these small firms. They get bought in. And that's why they only attack, and they use capybara and things like that. That's how they make their money. They do not make their money like this idiot tried to do, trading it. Right? He got bought in, got blown out. Now his life is miserable.
Because they create protection against that kind of blowout with the convertible notes, with the crappy bearer research, with they each help each other, the collusion of selling.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about also, now that I threw that idiot under the bus, is this GNS. He paid off $18 million in debt with his convertible notes, and they converted stock. So this guy he's got taken to the cleaners by the lenders, and he bowed to them and basically converted their notes. And basically, I wouldn't touch that stock with a 10-foot pole. I don't give a shit what he says. He settled with them once before, and that's why his stock has been crashing back down. Right, because he's actually settled with these characters. And it's right, he made a big stink that he paid off his $18 million.
He came in, and I'll say it, you don't have to say it, but he came in and with a big fanfare, banging his drum, his fight against shorts. He took credit, Ham, for everything you taught him. He's doing the fight. I think he just came in to do what he did. Step in front of a group of investors, bail his ass out, and do a deal with the shorts.
Well, again, you could take, I don't care about the credit. I don't care about that.
I know you don't.
I
care
agree.
that you get it, though.
I agree. I think that's what he did. And that's why I'm saying that I wouldn't go near that stock. He's, what do I call him? I forgot what I call him. Roger Rabbit, right? He's yapping all the time. Again, he did the right thing. He stepped in, he fought, he wanted to fight, but he had some real luggage behind him, and he got rid of it all. So he
keeps his job, right? He keeps his salary. Anyway, enough of my negativity on the guy.
I'm just gonna say that, listen, I have nothing against the guy. He's been fighting big guy. I don't care, but I do believe that eventually down the road, if he's converting and dropping all these shares into this company now, I don't know how many, but eventually, I guess he'll reverse it or something like that. I don't know. Then he'll clean it up. He got rid of his debt. He got rid of all his holders. Blah, 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 blah. He'll reverse it. He'll have 1 million shares in the company, and then he'll be a new company. That's the Wall Street way. Whether he was boxed into doing it, I'm sure he didn't do this on purpose. But again, he fell for the Wall Street trap. Now, how do you get out of it? All right. So he's navigated through, 7 of the 8 minefields here now, right? He got an audience. He made a lot of noise. He got a lot of press. Then he got rid of the debt, which is just recently, it's all over the place. He talks about it on Twitter. But the next thing is that since he flooded the market and converted all these shares at the lowest possible point, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
That now his market cap will be out of whack. And the next thing to do would be reverse it. He cleans it all up and see you later.
And you're right. This is what Wall Street does. They cram down original investors. They cram down retail all the time.
That's what they do. And we're fighting to get the SEC, not the SEC, fuck them. The FBI, the Secret Service, and whoever else.
One guy asks on that, and he thinks it might be a dumb question. if the Secret Service, DOJ, FBI don't do anything, could we turn to Interpol?
I don't know.
All right. I interrupted your train of thought.
That's a good question for Mark Basile. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Listen, I keep trying to report to you guys, listen, the equity market is completely broken and it's all fraud. The U.S. government is manipulating the big cap stocks up, and they just keep making believe that everything is great. All right, I don't know if they're taking Caterpillar back up today. Yeah, there's Caterpillar 5. UNH, they slaughtered it, and it's still going down. UNH hasn't gathered its footing. Keep an eye on that for the future, because when they knock it down this much, it's gone down from wherever it was, $5.50. It's only down $25. But, these are the type of stocks they, when Caterpillar goes down, they'll buy UNH and take that up $15. That's what they do. They keep rotating the names. Apple Computer lost their patent on their watch, right? They're not going to make their Apple Watch anymore.
Who got it? I didn't read the article. I saw the headline.
So the year high is $199. They just lost they can't sell the watches anymore. They can't make them, whatever. I don't know how much of that and how much money they invested in that. And the stock doesn't go down. It doesn't make a difference what they do. If a small company just has a crumb go wrong against them, if you're not pitching a perfect game as a small company, they will destroy you because of naked short selling. Here's Apple Computer lost a major component of their business. No one seems to care. No one sells a share. It's like no big deal. The stock's trading, there's 56 million shares traded a day. Today's traded 18 million shares at 1 o'clock. No one even cares. Because they know the government is buying it, taking it high. That's why. How long before that takes a hit on Apple's earnings or whatever? It's got to do some damage, right?
Yeah.
It's just remarkable that there's
that's the Fed or somebody, Ken Griffin, buying on behalf of the Fed. They're just propping the market up.
So again, I talk about GDC, popped up to 360 this morning. You told me it was up, and I was like, I was going to get coffee.
What do you think of GDC or Finger? Which one goes first if they go? And another thing is,
I know nothing about GDC. Zero.
I know, but maybe this other stock you guys all talked about yesterday, YJEN or something, it's $120.
ZJXL. I don't know what it is. Gin Medical is traded 200,000 shares. It's up 20. It was up from $5 yesterday to $10 to $510.
So maybe they have to run that one, get done with that one before they move money.
Anyway, you just saw the fallout of the guy Jay got caught in the middle of that and was nice enough to post his embarrassing trade that wiped him out. And that shows you what happens. These stocks pop, they get guys short, they all panic, they get bought in, and that's how you get a stock to go from 10 to 500.
It was this stock?
Big option. Excuse me?
It was this stock?
It was this stock. That's the one the guy was playing.
Wow. And he was short this stock. Wow.
He shorted it at 58 and he got bought in at 326. And it went to 500. So that just shows you everything we've been talking about. That is what that's what's gonna happen in Finger Motion.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit, Lynn. The guy from Australia, they can sit there all they want. We're going to carry these fucking guys out, whether they like it or not. All right? I've been here for 5 years. There's no way I'm going to stop until I fucking torture them. They deserve it. They belong in jail. I will go to the FBI, to their office, all right, which I've offered them to come in to sit down and talk with them. Same thing with the other guys in DC, the Secret Service. Anytime, anywhere. I've educated them. Their questions are less and less. And you know what? I can't go too much more into details, but this is going to happen. These guys they don't give a shit about their partners. They don't care about the SEC. That's the first thing they do for everyone to understand. Real law enforcement makes fun of the SEC. They say their job is for life, and the FBI and the DOJ and the Secret
Right.
Service.
Right.
The SEC, it's a turnstile.
Yeah.
So it's very different. They just want to do is make a splash and then move along and get a job. That's what they do. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know how many people are hired by the SEC, but I'll say 90% of them are brain dead. Because if you can't see all the stuff that we see and report every day, all they have to do is just put up a stock and we'll give you the details on it. We can dig it up for you. We don't need Hindenburg. Hindenburg has a direct pipe to the SEC. Whatever they say works, right? The SEC goes after them, correct?
Yeah.
So what they do is the hedge funds on the street will now give them all their information on any company they want to attack. They give it to Hindenburg. Hindenburg puts the story out. Hindenburg gets the credit for it, maybe gets a whistleblower award. And the hedge fund who's short millions and millions and millions of shares makes a fortune. And that's how they use Hindenburg. You think Hindenburg has a network of people running around researching companies? They're hedge funds that have picked the bone with somebody and they want to fight with them and try to expose them to make money. That's all it is. We're trying to expose them. We put a truck. We've done everything possible. Can you believe that the SEC has never even looked at it? We put it in front of the enforcement conference. You tell me.
They're not interested. They don't care.
We're going to make them interested because I've been looking at all the photos of the people and their families, okay, that have posted on MMTLP, father with his two kids. And that's what I keep trying to tell you is that if you don't stand up and fight, this is what's going to happen. They just keep going. They don't stop. No one's stopping these guys. If you don't stand, they're like locusts, right? Right? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hang on for a second. They're like locusts. They just keep stealing everything.
Yeah.
Gary Ball, wouldn't it be a good time for brokers to buy shares to cover the special dividend? The brokers don't want it. Any pennies they spend, they lose. If they pay 40 cents for it, of course that'd be the smart thing to do. But they all act the same way. It's like the rule. We all move together. It's like synchronized swimming. Should we buy them in? Should we just cover it? And they all say the same thing. What's E-Trade saying? They're not doing anything. What about Ameritrade? They all talk to each other. Back office people, are you doing anything? Nah, fuck them. That's what they say. Where are they going to call a cop? That's what they say. That's what goes on with the dividends that you're missing. That's what's going on. It's pretty easy. Do you have any other questions, William?
Well, I'm trying to ignore this guy, Jason Festivo. He's accusing us of being paid by scam companies. So
Jason, we have. Jason, can you do me a favor? Come down to the Southern District. I'll see you there tomorrow. And I'll walk in with you and you can turn me in.
Yeah.
Let's see how much of a big mouth you are then, Jason.
But bring your trading records.
Jason has no balls, and he's going to sit here and listen. They're paid by the shorts. Let them give. Who's getting paid? We're working this for 4 fucking years. What are you, moron? Get out of here.
He says.
Stop that guy. Don't give him anything.
All right.
He's an idiot. He says what?
He says
We've been doing this for years. If the SEC thought we were doing something wrong, William, they would have knocked on our door. As a matter of fact, we were knocking on their fucking door. So idiots like Jason or anybody who thinks
Jason's probably paid by the criminals.
Of course. Who would sit there and waste their time?
I mean, what?
Who would listen to this conference call? All right. If you're a criminal, you would listen to the conference call. If you're not a criminal,
all right.
The reason
I deleted him.
William?
I banned him. So
you banned him. Listen, William.
We'll move on.
You get the most flack when you're over the target. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say here.
There's a
The
few
SEC
questions that are on a better note, so we can move on. I'm sorry I brought
But
them
you
up.
have to stop with the negative people. Everyone here is getting ripped off, including myself. Do I want to hear the voice of a criminal who's hiding? If he has the nerve, tell me to meet me at the FBI, and I'll take him in. They would love to sit down and talk to him. Let's hear your point. What's the point? What proof do you have? Let's go. He doesn't have any proof.
He's gone. I don't even remember his name.
That's it. That's all. And the conversation. So stop giving these people any minute of the day. Just tell them to go fuck their mother and get out of here. Next.
This guy is exact question, which I guess he's new. He says, can you ask him about GNS and Hamilton? He talked about it. That guy talked a good game, but he sold out. But you already talked about it, but maybe you can summarize.
He announced today that he paid off his debt and he converted it into shares and he took care of whatever he's got to do. That's basically it's him selling out. He should have went to Mark Bazile. Mark Bazile would have went after the toxic lenders and shut them down and not paid them anything. I don't know why he didn't hire him, but that's what he should have done. When you got a toxic lender, you don't convert, you go after them. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what he did not do.
That one gentleman said he could only buy a little GDC. Look, if it works, you only need a little.
But if you don't have, listen, just we're all following the same thing. Let's see if it works. That's all. Listen, I wanted to buy 1 million shares. I couldn't afford it. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
You know, I could have bought Wolf. I've been following Wolf just based on Bitcoin, and I didn't do it. It went from $1.15 to $2.16 today. I could have bought ALT the other day. I didn't do that. I bought GDC. It went from 550 to 850, 880, excuse me. I mean, that's just the way it goes. You can't, you just got to pick and choose your battles, and that's it. And hopefully it works out. That's what I did. Finger motion and GTI, I studied for years, not days, years. I've been studying naked shorts for 24 years. Am I proud of it? No. I can't stand it anymore. How they keep letting these guys go on. I went to every enforcement agent in the country. And I don't remember anybody who's a criminal that would go to the police to report a crime. And in case you don't know, the first person they look into is the person that knocks on their door. All right, because I did that.
I thought it was the husband.
I went to the New York Attorney General's office many years ago. His name was Morgenthau. I think that was his name.
Oh, yeah.
And I went in and they told me point blank, the first person we're going to investigate is you. I said, I didn't care. And I gave them all the details on the criminal. And they said that this was above them and it was coming out of DC to not get involved in it.
Was it Robert Morgenthau?
I forgot his name.
Yeah.
I know it was Morgenthau. His last name is Morgenthau.
One guy's wondering if the fact that
just people at GTG, Gary, David, Charlie, if you bought it and you don't like the way it acts, move along. You know as much as I do. I'm not going anywhere. I think there's more to come. There's smoke, there's fire. That's how I look at it. And I'm going to stay around a little longer. That's what I'm doing.
One guy on GDC, one guy asked, do you think that was the entire move this morning? It went to 359.
My friend who owns 600,000 shares has not done a thing. He says it's going high. But you know what? That a token to get me on the subway. That's what we used to say, right? So I'm sitting here watching it at a grain of salt, whatever it may be, right? Whatever the saying may be. I do by my gut. I'm down a little bit in it. And I'm just going to sit and wait it out. I could have broke even this morning at 360, but I didn't. I wasn't even home. I didn't pay attention.
But would you have taken it?
No.
Okay. So the NASDAQ is hitting all time.
Just so you understand, 700,000 shares traded today. My friend owns 600. So I know he's still here. Right. And he owns it higher. So I'm following him. And he's a pretty bright guy. So I'm going to follow him.
Okay. NASDAQ is hitting new highs. Is it affecting all NASDAQ stocks? Do you have any comment?
Apple Computer lost one of its products, lost its patent. I'm sure they'll be sued on it, and the stock's up on the day. You tell me, how's that happen?
Exactly.
The video was
Exactly.
the video. The video was up to 515 yesterday. Beat it back down again to 492. Down another. It's just to create volatilities. To create. That's how they need to make action in these names. Listen, I look at all these names. MMTLP's breaking down the doors in DC, and that's gonna help everyone here. So again, I applaud them. I'm with them. I don't own the stock. I never did. But guess who owns it? Law enforcement, and they're not happy about it. They bought it. They're just like us.
This is
Right? They bought it. Law enforcement owns MMTLP and FNGR. So you tell me what stocks you think that they're going to get behind. Do I need to say that again?
Apple.
Do I need to say it again? One is not trading, one is trading. So the story on Lynn is being told very prominent.
Hey, it's not Jeff Easton. He doesn't do that.
Oh, he's a great guy.
And it's
Every
not
company he invests in is worthless.
it's not Philip Vallier, Hai Lee Kim, Sam Chung,
Right.
John Hancock. They're all good people.
No. So they met their match this time. We're not going away. And you know what? Let's see what happens. We're right in the middle of the holiday season here. And law enforcement loves to pick people up on the holiday season. They love it. So let's see if they can get off their ass and go get them.
They're like Serpicum. How do you get CEOs to have the same conviction as you do, so they don't step in
Okay,
it?
I've spoken to hundreds of CEOs.
Yeah.
Right. And out of hundreds, so let's say it's 100. 99 of them don't know their ass from their elbow. They know what they're doing as far as their company. As far as the equity markets, they listen to their attorneys or anybody else who gets their ear. And they all make the same mistakes.
That's a good point.
It's just the way it is. Nothing you can say. GNS, the guy's out here fighting. He's put his name out there. He's done everything that he could. But at the end of the day, he had a note. He did a deal. I forget the one a while ago. He covered them. There was another note or some other bad guy. He covered them, and now he did it again. So now he's cleaning up everything, all the messes that he made. And that's why his stock has dropped from, I remember the stock being, was it really high or something like that? I can't remember where it was. It was like $100 stock or something like that at one point. I can't remember. But now he's a proud owner of a 72-cent stock. And he looks like he's about 50 years old. So he's got another 15 years of working to get his stock to get back up to $1. That's what he's got to do. Good luck.
And Adriana Friedman smiles into the camera.
It's remarkable. Remarkable.
Do you know of the toxic lender, bad actor in GDC? You don't know. I don't know either. But
No, I do not. I know the symbol GDC. That's it.
Yeah, that's. I bought some just because you did. So
I wouldn't say it. I would never say it unless I believe the guy who told me to buy it. That's it. That's what I'm going. I believe my friend who told me ALT. I just didn't have any money. It went from 550 to 880. I love the people I met, the people in Wolf. I sat down at a conference with them, listened to them speak. But again, I watch it because I learned about Bitcoin, and meanwhile, this stock has gone from 1 to 2, and I watched Mara, MARA, and Riot go from $1. Look where they are now, 21 on Mara, and Riot is the other one, and that's down on me. That's $16. So these stocks have all rallied huge, and Wolf is still dragging its ass, and their toxic lender, which they paid off, is Yorkville, another criminal. So again, the only reason I'm following it because I wanted to learn about not toxic lending, Bitcoin mining. I learned about it.
According to several here, MULN just approved a 1-for-100 reverse stock split. Do you think that's going to be the step that solves their problem?
It's going to solve their problem. It's not
It'll
gonna
solve the shorts problem.
They solved everyone's problem but their own.
Yeah. And they
Everyone's
took
happy.
the highly
Everyone's happy.
educated advice of attorneys and investment bankers so they could CYA and
I told the CEO, I spoke with his attorneys. I said, do what I gave them the blueprint. I helped write their press release. I did everything for them. And the lawyer must have talked them into not doing anything and said I told them, you're just going to wind up reversing your stock. And what did they do? They reversed it, then they did it again. They reversed it, got it to $1, did it again. And stock still, 10 cents? I couldn't even tell you what the hell the thing is worth anymore.
you should have laid a bet in Vegas on that. Maybe you'd make
I
some
should have
money.
shorted it myself.
Yeah, sure.
I knew what he was doing. He wasn't doing anything.
Double bottom. That sounds like a
Listen,
large
stop,
person
people,
on the
stop,
Southwest flight.
Stop paying attention to it. The company, these guys want it dead. You know, Mark Bazile, he's got a lot of work to do there. They got to chase these people down. They got, chasing the criminals that have killed the company. It's just remarkable. I don't know how many people work for the company. His idea, his cars, it doesn't make a difference what you come up with. Look at the guys helping people walk. Their stocks are 60 cents. 60 cents. Hey, EKSO is up to it. EKSO is $1.50 now. They murdered this company. I think they did 3 reverses already. I don't know how many RWAK has done.
Unbelievable.
I remember this one, EKSO from 5 years ago. They reversed it, popped it up again, reversed it, they killed it back down. They do the same thing. Shareholders get nothing. Do you understand? Let me just bring you this about EKSO. I spoke with one of the technicians.
Say the symbol again, because that blurred.
Eddie King Sam Oscar.
Eddie King Sam Oscar. Okay.
I know this stock cold. You need 3 people to actually have someone learn to walk in the robot. They have to actually fit the handicapped person in there, make sure it's calibrated. There's someone working the controls, there's 2 people walking with the person. All right. And they adjust it and they help the people learn to walk again. It helps get their legs moving, or if they don't have a leg, it helps move, keeps moving the right leg, and the leg it actually moves them along, keeps them upright. Those people are physical therapists and they get paid by the company and they get a bonus at the end of the year on stock compensation. So if they're making $100,000 a year working as a physical therapist with severely handicapped people, they were taking the shot working for EKSO because they make maybe $80,000 a year less. But with their stock bonus when they come on board, when I met the people, the stock was 5. So, it could be if you have 20,000 shares that you can sell every year and invest it, it's another 100. You're making $180,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get qualified people to come help with these severely handicapped people. Those people started to quit. So the company then becomes in a debt spiral because now he has no employees, because they're going back, instead of making 80 with $100,000 bonus, they're making 80 with no bonus. They can go back to their physical therapy job and make $100,000 and stay there. Because the life behind being in a public company, being an employee, is too deadly. People can't afford it. They can't sit here and take the risk. And that's what they were doing. They were taking the risk for a better job and better pay. Instead, they go backwards. And these are people that want to help people. This isn't a car mechanic. These people want to help people, and they don't give a shit about it. And you call that a debt spiral. The company has no employees to have people, to educate people how to get into these robotic things. What good are they? They're worthless. And I watched it and understood it And I was amazed when I saw the robot because I couldn't believe that this can actually help you. It's unbelievable. And they shuttered it down and couldn't kill it. And then I studied EYES, was Second Sight. They put that into bankruptcy, another company that helps people who are blind. So the handicapped, the blind, they could care less. People with cancer. Pete from Philly put up a picture of a young little boy with cancer, a baby with a dog, and they kill those companies. I can't even watch it. It breaks my heart. It makes me sick that these animals are doing this stuff. Kill, and it doesn't make a difference.
But Adina makes 28 million a year.
Looking the other way.
Looking the other way. She must be proud. Her parents must be proud of her. Did Benzinga's principal person rat out the rat?
I don't know. That's a good question. If you want, Mark Brazil's on Twitter. Just send a tweet to him and ask him. You can ask him. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
You always say that shorts want volatility, but there's no volatility in GTII.
There has been volatility. You sound asleep. They've been pushing it down from 70 cents every day, a penny, a half a penny, a half a penny, a penny, a half a penny. They're trying to create the volatility down. They keep pushing it down, and they want to see investors who are in a panic, who want to tax sell. They want to make sure you sell it at the low. And if you go to sell it, you will not only push it through 40. If people start piling out, they know that we'll push it down to 30 cents. And then the next group will panic and they'll sell it to 20 cents. They want us to create the volatility to the downside. Finger motion has been straight down attacked, right? They actually put up the print the other day on Friday. It's always lower, trying to mark it down. And you sit there and say, okay, they're marking it down, but I'm not selling. And yesterday we saw Frank DiBenedetto post on Twitter that he was going to sell it if it broke 365 or something like that. I don't know if he sold it. I went to 355. And that's what they want people to do. Hey, give up. I'm giving up. You're giving up. I'm giving up. That's what they want.
Can you say coordinated? Oh, I didn't say it. South Korea, is their short ban having any positive effects that you know about in their market?
No, I don't. I'm sure it's super positive in South Korea. Not here. I don't know how the U.S. government, I don't know how the SEC, how do they hide and shame countries and telling them, and they don't do anything. It's just, I don't. It's unbelievable. When you think that, oh my God, South Korea is coming out, Thailand's coming out, they want to stop it. It's criminal. They want to put them in jail, make the charges stronger. And the U.S. there's crickets on the U.S. side. Nothing. No one said a word. They didn't even address it like it never happened.
Do you think that Biden will tell the Secret Service to lay off while it's an election year?
No. Biden, Diaper Joe doesn't know where he is.
Backroom Joe. Oh, backward Joe.
He has no idea what he's doing. Whoever's in charge down in D.C. is doing two things: trying to go after Trump, all right, and try to support the market before it collapses. That's what they're doing. That's all that's going on. Everything else, there's guys having gay sex in the Capitol building. There's cocaine found in the building. His son's taking bribes, and no one does anything. The place is like a nut house. The whole place, the whole country's insane.
Well, that was positive.
Well,
I'm not mad at you. It's so depressing. All right, so Finger Jennifer says it's at 392. That
crazy feeling that Finger Motion's going to explode soon. I just had that. It's just the guy. I don't know anything. It's been too quiet. I had every big shareholder that I know send emails to the company to do a special dividend. Quiet, no one knows. I can only guess that they're going to do something soon because the people that are sending the messages have a lot of stock, millions of shares. They actually, I think, own the whole.
So, Jeff,
I think that they have a lot of clout.
They own how much? I talked over you. Sorry.
I think they own the whole float.
The whole float. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. I thought Macy's owned the floats. Jeff
Macy's.
Cato says, do I buy finger or GTII or both?
Jeff, I'm a believer in that until GTII does whatever that deal maker came on board, until he announces this deal, I would take the shot on finger. When he announces the deal, then you can make a determination, because I don't know what the deal is going to be. But he's doing something. I don't know what it is. So you make your own decision on that. You can wait to see what happens, wait to see what happens with finger. But I think finger's been beaten down so much. I think we can get a bounce back up to 5 here. All right. The tax loss selling, there is none. You can see there's no selling. It's just make-believe manipulation. You saw the 395 print. I actually outlined it for you. The short was 2 million. Now the short's 1,340,000. If you plug in the 628, whatever it was, the cross on Friday at 395, it brings you right back to what they did is they're just moving the short position around. You know, you can see it. It's right there.
Could we do a citizen's arrest?
Can we?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
I don't know.
If we do, I'll be standing right behind you.
I have a few guys that go through the door first. Don't worry about that. But we're allowed to do it. Don't worry about it. I have enough people that we can take care of this ourselves. If they give us permission.
I'll back you up from the radio car.
It's pretty funny. But anyway, I had a great story about that, but I don't think I can tell it. I actually did a citizen's arrest one time.
You did?
Yeah, well, you know, a different type of citizen's arrest.
Got me some Josie Wales.
I showed up with the A team to make sure that the people that were robbing us were going to make sure that they know we're coming. No, that's a different.
Oh, was
story.
that at that disco?
No, this is a pretty. I can't tell.
All right, don't talk about it.
It's too crazy. But I can tell you that if we're allowed to do our own arrests, I can go get our own police department to actually assist in that. Let's leave it at that.
I mean, I don't know how you answer this, but are you worried about this hedge fund guy they hired at GTII? Joe Carnell wants to know.
No.
I think Reichman is on
I
it.
would be worried about it if it was a $10 stock. Whenever you get a stock that's a real high price stock and they're making moves that we don't quite understand, then I would be nervous about it, because you have to wait and see, and it's a lot of money on the table when you own a $10 stock. The stock is 42 cents. They brought a guy in for a reason. The guy's a deal maker. Obviously, he's going to do something. What's he going to do? I don't know. When's he going to do it? I think rather sooner than later, but I don't know when he does it. Or what he's going to do. I have no idea.
So Lou, Father Sarducci says that and a token will get me a ride on the subway.
That's it. Lou knows. That's the Brooklyn in him. KYP knows about that, but she doesn't know about. She's too young. She probably doesn't know about a token. She's probably looking around. What are these guys idiots talking about?
So EO is one of my stalwart critics. He says, how would Ham know some of these questions? William, you can do better. So I apologize to you, Ham, if I'm asking the wrong questions. But
how would Ham know what questions?
I don't know. Some of these questions, I guess I ask you, you don't know the answer.
I say I don't know.
Exactly.
That's it.
So Lou followed up with that, and the S3 will get me a ride on a subway. All right. I think it's contagious.
I spoke about the S3. The S3 was filed by the company and Univest.
Right.
What are they doing with it? They're going to do. They didn't file it just to have it hanging out there. Exactly. The company said they are not raising any money down at this level.
That's right. In a press
They
release. In a
answered the
press
question.
release.
The company, the finger motion has been nothing more than upfront about everything they're doing. Are you raising money down here? Absolutely not. Right? That's
Right.
what they said. Then the company went after Capybara, immediately went after Capybara.
Yeah.
Then Brazil got a judgment against Capybara. Capybara defaulted. Now you have to wait for the final papers to be put in. It's so funny that you said that, William. Look what has to happen. The company filed against Capybara. We had to wait because they were out offshore. They're not in the U.S. The court gave them more time to answer the complaint. They never answered the complaint. Was that 40 days? 40 days? Excuse me, that we had to suffer as holders waiting for Capybara. And the court system gave them that much time, criminals. Now Mark has to file a final judgment or something, whatever he has to file, and then the company can make a statement about it. But 50 days of these guys are robbing us and they're not even in the country. And we gave them the benefit of the doubt, and they walked away from it anyway, like we all knew they were gonna do. Think about that, how crazy this is. The FBI, as soon as the company filed the suit against Capybara and Benzinga, the FBI should have been notified and said, okay, keep an eye on this guy. This guy committed security fraud. They robbed investors. They knocked the stock down from $7 to $4.58 on a fake report. And the attack was a naked short driven, a bear raid. They defaulted. Just follow the sell tickets. Timothy Sykes, all those guys are involved. Because they did the same thing to SHOT. The same story, Capybara, the company's criminals, blah, blah, blah. Everything's wrong, right? This guy, that guy, you name it. Everyone who knows someone in a public company, everyone's a criminal around it. They know their cousin Vinny's a criminal. This guy's a Vinny. Tony stole a car. Who did what? That's what it's all about.
What's a
Never
grid?
about settling a trade. Never about settling a trade, right? No one ever says that. All these people that call on your line, William,
Yeah.
okay, that try to piss on us or try to say all stupid things. The only question is stock settlement. That's
Do
what we're
you
talking
feel
about.
lucky?
We're not talking about anything else. I don't give a shit what finger motion does or whatever. I mean, I do, but I'm here for stock settlement. It doesn't exist. It did exist for that poor slob that got blown out today, right? Whatever that guy's name was again. I forgot his
You
name.
have to blow out retail. That's the job. But not the hedge funds. No, don't blow
No,
them
I'm just
out.
saying that the guy who was short that stock, who shorted it at 58 and got bought in at 3 something, all right? He now has to, he understands about stock settlement now.
Yeah.
That's stock settlement. There you go. Stock settlement working in real time. And the guy gets, run out.
Well, that's just Adriana Friedman doing her job.
She caught one guy.
She catches one guy.
He legitimately shorted 1,000 shares. That's the guy they caught.
And she makes a check for 28 million. Hey.
Right. The guy Ken Griffin's telling people on Twitter, it's all over the video, that he decides what the price of your stock is going to be. He decides.
Yeah. So what's your guess of a time frame for MMTLP's resolution?
Listen, we always get these stupid things. Oh, now it's the holiday and this and that. I can't believe it's still going on.
Oh, the Apple Watch is about the blood oxygen monitor. So I guess they just take that out and they can sell it. I don't know. How do
All
they?
it knows if any small company, if you sell a bad cookie, they'll shut you down.
Oh, yeah.
Peloton got destroyed because someone had their baby put on the thing, and there was a part that let the baby I guess the baby got killed. I can't remember. They destroyed the company. And all the people, everyone that was behind Peloton, they destroyed the whole thing. It's a $6 stock now. Just for money. They didn't care.
A small
Well,
stock
it gets
appointed Tim Cook CEO, they'd sell it off.
It doesn't make a difference what they do. They killed the pot stocks. Everyone, I go to get the pot gummies with my cousin, takes me in, and we go in there. The places are packed. All these dispensaries, wherever you go. Anyone who ever got into making this stuff, their stocks are destroyed. TLRY, which is a monster companies now, whatever it is, TLRY, I think it is. It's $2 till right. It was over $300 at one time, squeezing $2. CGC, which invested in, I think CGC was invested in by STZ. That's it, STZ. It's a Constellation Brands. They bought a big position. I forget how many billions of dollars in CGC. It's 50 cents. I think they paid 30 for it. It's 50 cents. That was a major company taking a stake because they thought the pot was going to be the gateway, and they lost billions of dollars in it. It's funny, I remember all these crazy stories, right?
Oh.
What do you got?
The jokes keep on coming.
Oh, God, we missed him all day. Tell him to go watch Rodney Dangerfield.
My ex dumped me because she said I didn't give her any privacy. At least that's what she wrote in her diary. Wow. This is interesting from Rick L., the man with at least a dozen trading screens behind him. He checked large positions in GDC. Yahoo, Citadel, and Bank of America all have large positions. My guess is they lend them out, but
how many shares are in the float? I don't even know.
I don't. Let me look on OTC markets.
I heard that it was 2 million shares. So what you're seeing doesn't make any sense if that's true.
You didn't look? I'm in a stock that you didn't look it up?
I could care less. I'm not letting anything bother me. You got the wrong guy. I care about one thing. When I get off the phone with everybody today, I'm going to call law enforcement up and try to move the boulder faster. All right?
There's
I know it's
3,053,000 outstanding shares.
That's outstanding, William.
That's the outstanding shares. Well, there's no float listed on OTC markets. So let me go to Yahoo.
If the gentleman with all the screens go look and get the information, how many shares?
Don't make
Maybe you
him.
need to get another screen that can give you the outstanding. Listen, I work with the best traders in the world. I don't know how many shares, how many stocks you trade every day, but you should focus and get it down to 2 screens and be an expert.
Well, I read that you should just have one smaller screen so you don't get distracted.
No,
but maybe that's for me.
I have a lot of friends that like that. You go into their house or something, they have a wall of screens. They want to know every group that's trading, and it's how many mistakes they make by jumping into stocks they know nothing about. They get whooped all the time. But you know what? That makes them feel better.
Well, some people are addicted to action, like me.
Listen, I got it. My friends do it. They got screens in there. They look like looks like they work at the airport.
Well, see now, Yahoo is a completely different story. They say shares outstanding are 4.49 million, not much better, and that the float is 3.75 million. Still not much different.
But that can't be right.
I don't think so. Yahoo is always higher for some reason. They have a, let me read number 8, see what 8 says on their bottom of their
I
page.
just texted my friend who owns 600,000 to ask him. But I can guarantee you that I went back and looked. Hold on. I think he traded 5 million shares up to 550 recently, 5 to 6 million shares. So whatever the number is, you know that they're naked shorting the stock.
I mean, they say implied. I can't find what the number 8 next to it means, but it says implied shares outstanding, which is lower than the shares outstanding, which has the number 5. Implied shares has number 6, and the float has number 8. But I can't find the references to those numbers, so I have no idea what they mean.
This guy, some guy named Rogers, is forked the shorts. He put a picture of the capybara, the big rat with the bullseye on his nose. They're nice animals, except for this animal from Brazil.
I don't like rats. Rats are not my favorite animals.
No, the capybaras are that big. It's a big rat.
If they were humans, they'd have to wear diapers all the time. Can you ask him if he's seeing the sell order wall for 34,452 shares of Finger at 4 smackers?
No, that's why they go in front of it. They want you to listen. I was brought up, when you see a wall of stock for sale, they're going to take it. That's what's going to happen soon. It's going to trade at 4. It's going to go right through 4. How many walls did we see on the way up before? They all fall down, right?
Right.
Pattern. When you put stock up for sale like that, you're showing your cards. Someone's going to take it.
This is interesting.
The old saying goes like this, William. I just remembered it. Size goes to size.
Explain that.
Well, if someone's offering 34,000 at 4, and you're a buyer, you say, "Well, there's 34,000 for me. My 50,000 to buy is size, and 34,000 to sale is size. So size goes to size." Since we don't see a bid for 50,000, because they don't usually show the bids, right? Because they always want to make it look weak, right? So that means that the buyers will just going to have to step up and take the 4 stock, which will happen. And if you were short at $5 or $6 or $7, when you buy the stock at 4, lock in that Christmas profit. But wait, you can't, because it's you just selling it. There's no one else. It's the short selling it.
Well, Adriana will help you. Has law enforcement seen that video from what's the guy's name? Altucher and Jim Cramer, where Jim Cramer.
No, that was what was his name? I forgot his name. Aaron Task, T-A-S-K.
Aaron Task. I mean, he confesses what he used to do.
Yeah, you just call up, you knock the futures down, you spread some stories to the reporters that this company's it's not going to make its quarter. That's what they do. And that's the beginning of Capybara and Andrew Left and Carson Black and Hindenburg and Jim Chanos and Mark Cahodes. They all did the same thing. They write these negative stories. And don't get me wrong, I got it. There's people that do positive stories, the negative stories. But on the negative stories, when the stocks get killed and they're fake, the stories are fake, what happens? The company stock goes down. The employees quit. They lose their compensation, their bonus money. It becomes a death spiral. They just destroy companies. And I got it. If the company's bad, they deserve it. I'm with you on that. But if these guys don't, they have a hit ratio of 1 out of 1,000. He's written 80 bad stories so far. They got one right. I picked 500 stocks. They go up. I got 5 wrong, 495 right. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, they just, come on, give it a break already. These guys, they stink at it. If you go back and read, I can get you the story on Canadian Life Insurance Company. I'm trying to think of the name. It was right on the tip of my tongue. And the short sellers got caught going through the guy's garbage pail looking for documents. And they were writing fake stories about Fairfax, Frank Harry, Fairfax. If you want to Google it, anybody, Fairfax was a Canadian. It was the Warren Buffett of Canada, Fairfax. Go read about him. Pat Byrne wrote about plenty of stories about him. All the big short sellers were attacking him in Canada. And the stock went from $50, I think, to 500. He roasted them all alive. Fairfax Communication. The symbol was Frank Harry. That's how they get how desperate they are. They'll do anything. But they will never show up at the federal authorities and tell their story. In which case, me and William have. We showed up, right, William?
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Do you think, I have this question too, but Ron wants to know, do you think ZJYL was a Univest run? Univest?
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Could be.
Listen, I follow stocks, but when I see a stock go from here to the moon, obviously someone got caught and they're short and they can't get out. They can't come.
Oh, here, Edward says it was run by Prime Number Capital LLC and SBI China Capital Financial Services Limited. So maybe it was just a copycat to
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. If I have no interest in it, I don't care. I have a small position in GDC. I don't care. Where's it going to go? That's how I look at it. So if it's not, I didn't buy a life-changing position. I bought enough that if it goes, I can turn around and use the profit to buy more finger. That's what I was.
Or you could make up your bet on football.
Oh, you got to go that way.
If it went to 100, you could more than pay for that bet.
Just remember, everybody, when I'm not here anymore, you can use it. Say that idiot lost all his money. Just remember, he was 13-0. He won every game and lost all his money. That's a loser.
This guy's saying, stop calling it Twitter. Elon spent billions of dollars to change it to X. Whatever.
Yeah, I can't get that letter on my tongue. X. I'll just say Twitter.
That's X is not a good letter to use.
Yeah, it's like,
It must have been the only letter available.
We'll be calling it XXX. That's what'll be the next thing we'll be saying.
Fingers 395.
Yeah. They'll take that 4 stock soon. And I'm not even watching it. That stock is going to be taken at 4. If they're showing it, it's going to be taken.
How come Dirty Mayo doesn't come on YouTube live with you guys? He's welcome to. We could hide his face. He's great. He's a fighter and he's a good person. He's welcome.
You want me to get him?
Well, I don't know how to do it right now, but let's do it. My computer is hotting up, as the Brits say. So you can try, but my computer might freeze. Let's do it tomorrow, or let's do it when we give him some notice.
Well, I'll get that dirty bastard first. Listen, I met Dirty Mayo. He was an investor in Northwest Bio, and so was Dr. Aziz. So these guys know their stuff about that company, and that's why I say Northwest Bio all the time. They're not invested anymore, but I talk about it because I was educated about it. And so, you can ask him questions about it. He can tell you about the whole thing. I mean, he understands it, He understands the crime. Everybody understands the crime. And that's why all we need is a crumb from everybody. Dirty Mayo was here when most people weren't here. He was standing here, standing tall. He reached out to me on Twitter, and I spoke with him, and I educated him, and he joined the fight.
He's a great guy. I've never met him, but I think very
Let's
highly.
not get crazy. You keep saying everybody's a great guy. I met busy brands. These guys they're a little sloppy, but they're good guys. You can hang out with them, but let's not turn them into movie stars.
Lordy.
I'm only.
So Jeffries is up. Can we counterfeit short Jeffries to 0?
I would love to do it. Trust me. There's nothing more I would love to do than become a naked short seller. I can show the FBI and the CIA and the Secret Service how to really make money. All you have to do is bang them down a couple of 100,000 shares, cover it, make yourself 50 cents, 500,000 shares a day is 250,000. Do it 5 days a week, $1.2 million. You make, you're talking about making $5 million a month doing nothing, and you just hop around.
Oh, it's so valuable. So valuable to the country to have guys like
you don't have to spend. Then I could take, making $5 million a month. I could take $1 million of it, hire 50 guys to post all day to break everyone's balls, right? Put up negative stories. I'm long this stock. I'm selling it. This is a scam. I'm getting out. And that's all you have to do. And hire 20 people like that. The longs won't know what's going on. The CEO will have the people calling. We could torture them. I work away making $5 million a month, $60 million a year. And I could go hang out in the Caymans every day and spend money and go on my yacht and run around. And get a 100-pound steak every night for dinner.
Did we ever find out who made up that fake earnings summary for Finger? Quote, missed analyst estimate by something from October 13th. I think it was that crappy Barra report.
Yeah, it's tied to Mark Bazil's on that. Let him, listen, guys, Mark Bazil's on Twitter. Feel free, just ask him. I asked him this morning, what was the update about, with Finger and, and the default. And he wrote down, I have to file something. And then it's completely official. He said he's filing it soon, and then he's going into Interpol to get them. What else can you say? It's right there. He'll answer you.
Oh, 2 of this guy's screens are scanners. I wonder why you would need scanners that are so big. Anyway, all right. Hey, Jenny L's here.
Jenny L.
Jenny Rebecca.
My friend who works for, I can't remember if it's Jenny L. I think he said Jenny L. And he said that he told me that she follows me and that he follows her. I don't know why.
She's a good kid, and she's got a great husband, good family. And she works hard to support all of us. And she wishes you and everyone here, hope you're doing well.
We are. Thank you very much. My wife has COVID, so I keep hiding from her. When she comes in one part of the house, I run to the garage and hide. I want to get it.
It's a good excuse.
If I had a girlfriend, it'd be a perfect time to go see her because my wife knows I'm hiding, so it doesn't make a difference.
Oh, so Not Legal Advice points out there's a second entity involved with Crappy Barra, and he or somebody has forwarded that to Mark Bazile.
There's another entity tied to Capybara?
Or helping, aiding him. I don't know if he said it's. His exact words are, there is a second entity supporting Capybara.
Right. Oh, good. So get it to Mark and let him. If you can't put it up on Twitter, I like to see it myself, so I can get the information. If you can't, just post it on Twitter. Copy Mark Bazile and let me see it.
Is ABQQ another Kramer stock? I don't know, but you might.
Is it a penny?
Was it $1 and is it now under a penny?
Right. If it has,
and they lent them 60 grand.
He lent them $5 and stole $3 million from it.
What bastard?
That's what I'm going to start telling CEOs. Hey, listen, I'll lend you $50,000 and let me kill your stock. That's not a bad idea. I should do that.
No.
And if anyone goes to these trade shows on Wall Street that go around the country. You see them a lot of times in Vegas or LA, all these trade shows. The only people that show up are the short sellers. Investors don't show up. And every CEO I talk to, I always tell them the same thing. Yeah, at a trade show, don't speak to anybody. Anything you say, use fair disclosure and shut your mouth because you're only talking to the criminals. They try to befriend you. I'm going to buy the stock. They tell you every story in the world, but all they do is just try to rob you.
I'm going to read that. I don't know what it means. Let's see, not legal advice. Files a document called a proposed judgment, and that's what the judge will sign. That's a little out of sequence, but maybe that's for the judgment against Capybara if they don't respond.
Well, they defaulted already. You said that.
Yeah, but I think they have until the 22nd or some date that I can't remember for sure to file, in a little bit of an extension.
No, I don't believe that's true.
Wow. Jenny had COVID. I'm sorry. Liquid IV twice a day helped a lot. Ham takes liquid gummy bears at night.
I had a gummy and a half last night, boy. I couldn't even get up to. I called you at 8 o'clock, William. I was like, I was still groggy.
I was walking my dog. And groggy. I don't know. I both don't sleep enough and too much.
All right. No yawning. All right. So, any other questions? Let's move this
That's
along.
the last question.
Sounds like we're like the living dead here.
And somebody asked me for my personal timeline on these stocks, but how about you? What's your timeline?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that GTII takes another 3 years and FNGR another 5 years and GDC another 2.5 weeks so I can get tortured. Are you kidding me, everyone? I am a option trader. I live to make trades every 30 seconds. You got the right guy trying to fight for you. I do not believe in. I'm not a long-term player. All right, so for me to be here for 3, 4 years, or 5 years now in this nonsense is like, it tells you that I smell blood. All right, that's the only reason I'm still here, because I smell blood and I smell an opportunity to change everyone I know. Okay, you can have your own opinion on it. The people I know, I go right to their face and I tell them this is a life-changing situation, get involved. That's what I tell my friends and people that I know. And I do it every day. And that's what I do. Because I do believe I think finger motion is going to be the next VW. And if GTII, if these idiots keep selling it down once finger motion goes, GTII will surpass finger motion then. Because we'll basically take out, oh my God, it could be another 20 million shares going on top of this thing at low levels. Oh my God, it's deadly.
So what happens with Capybara, according to not legal advice, there is a default, which is the first step, and then a judgment. See, I didn't use the right word. A judgment, which is the second step, and we're in the middle of the second step right now. So
we're in the middle of a judgment. So the judge has to sign off on it. Is that what that is? Is that what
I guess, and I personally, I think I read that Capybara still has time to respond before the judgment is entered, but it's not very long. It might be tomorrow or Friday.
Well, I'm sure Mark Brazil is not dragging his ass. So I'm sure whatever he has to file to put a nail into them, he's moving it along. He's not dragging his feet. That's for shit sure. All right, so we know that. But if you have to ask any questions, Mark is on Twitter. Please, reach out to him. He answered me. Just ask him. He'll tell you right then and there. He's on there. He's working cases. He's reading Twitter, and he's answering questions. I don't think you can get any better than that. Mark is very different than Wes Christian. Wes Christian is here for the home run swing. Wes Christian wants to drag down Wall Street and make billions and billions and billions of dollars in legal fees, and that's what he wants to do. Mark Brazil is completely opposite. All right, he's going for the short sweet, knock these guys out, shut them down, help the companies out, get rid of the toxic lenders, and get the companies straight again. That's what he's doing. All right, so it's very different. Mark is going after the toxic lenders. West is going after Wall Street and the stock settlement system. West is going after Goldman, Morgan, Jamie Dimon, all those type of people, Ken Griffin, which is not an easy thing to do. Mark Bazille's going after the Kramers, Lynn Partners, things like that. Very different. I don't know all these other names that these guys have. I don't know how that guy Savvy Management is not in jail. I can't. To me, it's the most amazing. It's the easiest one. He's already got pinched for a naked short selling scheme, and he's still walking around. He's walking around and living in my condo. That's the worst part.
Hunter Biden's on his board.
I'm sure.
Or Jeffrey Epstein. He's a Jeffrey Epstein.
I mean, just think of the things that you're seeing going on in this country. All right, there's so many things that are going crazy, and we can't even get them to settle a trade. Think about that. This whole thing is insane.
Jenny Rebecca, she wants to know. Jenny L wants to know, when is GTI and Figure going to run? Same pattern of trading? How high? When? She's just kidding.
I never heard those questions before.
Oh God!
Listen, I'm telling you, and I say it again. My belief is that we have the next Volkswagen in finger motion. It's ready to go. I believe it's going to go. When that goes, we're going to turn all eyes to GTII. Now, GTI just brought in a guy who's a deal maker, so obviously they're warming up to do something. So
just explain to people how high Volkswagen went. It was the largest company in the world for.
It was worth more than ExxonMobil. I think it went from like $100 to $2,500. I think the number was something like that, equivalent. I can't remember the numbers.
It's a pretty good move.
Just Google it. VW2.
I did Google
it. Was so big. A guy worth $9 billion jumped in front of a train and lost all his money. That's how big it was. So and you sit there and you say, this guy who posted about being short that stock at 58, being bought back at 326, that's the damage. So imagine being in Volkswagen short at 100 and it's $2,500. So that's how much money is lost on the short squeeze.
God, that's enormous. GDC's under 3. I say under about 70, maybe 50,000, 75,000 shares at the most. If that much, anyway.
What does that mean? It's under 3. They knocked the bullet, right?
299.5.
All right, I got another winner that turns into a loser. I'm still saying I'm not paying attention.
But the bid is 299 and the ask is 3. So they got it done in the middle. Thank God for those market
Richard,
makers.
It's not legal advice. If you're watching GDC, it opened at 360 and it's just been getting knock it down, knock it down, knock it down, knock it down, knock it down. There you go. Same pattern over and over again. Pete from Philly can post a chart on it. You can do our little circle. We'll see the same steps down, the red bars. It's the same thing. If I wanted to sell my stock in GDC, why did I let it go past $3.20? I would have sat there all morning and sold all my 700,000 shares if I wanted to do it, right? But no, they'd rather sell it less, get less money for it. So again, that is the same stupid pattern again by some criminals. And I heard the float was 2 million shares. So I think the numbers are wrong, but I'm trying to get my friend.
Well, it you know what it could be? Maybe it's closely held stock,
Well, it's not closely held when they can flood the market with more shares. People just can't keep buying. Hey, wait a second, we own more than the float. What? No one seems to care.
Well, Adriana Friedman's on it. She wants to protect and create wealth everywhere and anywhere, she says.
Right. Whatever. Yeah, she wants to create wealth
for herself.
My friend used to speak with, I forgot her name, at the NASDAQ. She's the head of enforcement.
Jessica Hopper?
No, my friend Ed used to speak to all the time.
Oh, Rose. No, I almost remember. Robin?
No, I have a telephone number, and our assistant also. He's been calling her for 15 years. Calls her up all the time. She does nothing. Zero. They listen, thank you very much, and they do nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's how you get fired. If you do something, you get fired. The way you don't get fired, just don't do anything.
That's exactly right. You can never, you always win, but you don't do anything, right?
Yeah. Hey. Well, I don't
No
know.
decisions, nothing. It's tremendous. It's remarkable what's going on.
Well, we don't know.
But we can listen, everyone here, we can all quit, okay? We can all walk away and not do anything, and nothing's gonna happen. Everyone is just lose. Or we can sit here and fight. So you make your own decision, what you want to do. So again, I chose to fight. I have kids, I have grandkids, and I chose to fight. And that's all I can say about that.
Wow, Busy Brands is a big shot. Sir Busy. Charlie Payne just tweeted acknowledging Busy Brands' tweet on MMTLP. I wonder if Busy will ever speak to me again. He's going to be bigger than his pants.
Listen, he's been looking down at us for a while.
He's going to be bigger than it. He's going to be too sexy for his shirt.
He yelled at me. I brought him his coffee, and I didn't have enough. I brought him back with one sugar. He wanted two. He sent me back to the place. He's that type of guy.
So Jenny L wants to ask you, Ham, if you think there's fraud in the market. Should we notify the SEC? She's just wondering.
Jenny L, full of fire today, huh? Listen. I tried everything to help you. I don't know if she has a family or anybody else.
She has a family. She has a family. And she's worked hard for everybody. She's really a good kid.
I appreciate it, and I'm glad you understand it, and I can't stop it. But if we all don't do a little bit, we'll never win.
Busy doesn't call not legal advice back, and he's his attorney. Oh, well.
Someone just set me that.
So if they get to the point where they think they can win, how high will they let it go? It's not a serious question. I was just
once it starts, it doesn't end until they finish covering their stocks. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Just look at that poor bastard. He was short that stock, and he got run over.
So one guy's wondering if Charlie Payne is going to bring it up, MMTLP on Fox.
Yes, he will. Listen, Charlie Payne is a friend. He's a great guy. He's protecting his career. You can't blame him. He's not going to do everything in the world. It's not his job. Listen, if I was making $500,000 a year, whatever he's making, he's got a family, he's got grandkids.
He makes less than Adina Freeman?
Yeah, everybody makes less than her.
It's a wage gap.
Yeah, she's probably out there having a blend. Making $28 million. Jesus. I'll take 2 weeks of her paycheck. That's all I want. That's enough for a year, right?
Yeah. Just tithe. I'll take a tithing.
She's probably got a beautiful bonus that the market's making a new high too.
She has a nice set of teeth.
All right, there you go. All right, everyone. I had enough for the day. I'd rather go walk across sleep on a bed of nails than listen to this all day. We all know what it is. It's a crime. We're trying to stop it.
Thanks for the endorsement.
You can do to help out. Retweet Charlie Payne's thing. Ask Charlie Payne to speak about whatever you want to talk about. He'll answer you. Go to Mark Bazile. You have questions about capybara. And whoever their partner is, please let them know. It all helps out. Richard, not legal advice. Keep up the great work. Busy. Thank you very much. I'll get Dirty Mayo to come on a call. That'll
Yeah, that'd be great. Dirty Mayo would be great.
You know, we're down to. I feel like this is Seinfeld when Kramer had the set from the Merv Griffin show. We're going to bring on Dirty Mayo next. And just remember, everybody, December, I think it's the 23rd or the 21st. I forget which day is the beginning of Festivus. So we have to celebrate that also.
Let's not be blessed.
That's for those who don't know, it's from Seinfeld, in case you don't know. All right. So,
All right.
what is today? Wednesday?
Today is the first day of the rest of your life.
What day is this today? I don't know.
Today is Tuesday.
Tuesday, 1 o'clock. Well, everyone, I have to leave. My cousin passed away, and I'm going to a wake, so I have to be there by 4. So, again, life goes on, and it sucks, but you got to keep fighting about it, and that's the way it goes. I'm trying to fight to protect everybody. I can only do so much. I have to family things also, like everyone else, so I have to run out. But have a great day, and we'll speak tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Ham.
You got it.
All right.
Call ended.
I'll stay on. Now that Jenny's here, I have to ever be alert for the nag hook. Oh, Payne is making several mil. Jenny. Oh. You are spot on. You are spot on. I want to just 4 articles over the last 2-3 days caught my eye. One is amazing. The headline is, and I'm not sure. Last Thursday, I went out to Mazza Gallery. If you guys don't know what Mazza Gallery once was, it once was the destination for shopping in sort of Chevy Chase, Bethesda, Maryland, DC. It was like Tyson's Corner, or I don't know what you guys have, Rodeo Drive or something. It's a really nice mall. I went up to meet a couple of friends. That shopping center is completely torn down. It's completely gone. It looks like they're building, if I had to guess, they're building apartments where it is. But I came up in the metro stop and I wanted to go quickly get a cup of coffee. In where the hotel is, and there's a mall there as well, every level empty. Every store, there's nothing in the mall. The hotel was open. I think it was a Ramadan Inn. But anyway, so the headline here, DC overtakes San Francisco with highest share of office buildings at risk of default as government officials continue to work from home. 72% of loans are under threat as buildings lie empty. Can they lie while they lay, or lay while they lie? Anyway, 72% of commercial loans on office buildings in the District of Columbia are under threat as the buildings lie empty. I would have said lay empty, but I don't know. I don't know. The office vacancy rate in the District of Columbia was 21% in the third quarter, compared to San Francisco's 34%. The capital region surpassed San Francisco, even as the amount of empty office space in the California city reached its highest level ever recorded. Washington, D.C. has surpassed San Francisco with the highest share of office buildings with bank loans at risk of default as government employees continue to work from home following the pandemic, following the science. San Francisco's loans of concern are 71%. DC's are 72%. In Washington, one of the major factors is federal employees' hesitancy to return to in-person work. My point of reading this to you, when I remember in high school government, John Morgan was my professor. He was great. He was great. He had a nickname for me, but I can't remember it. But I really enjoyed his class. But he made the point, always stuck with me. Why would Washington, D.C. be a good place to live? Because the bureaucracy always grows, the budget always grows, the economy is always going to grow. But here, commercial real estate's in more trouble than in San Francisco. That was one article I read that caught my eye. On CAUD, Frank Nez put out a report, and that caught my eye. Some of you may have read it, but it's quick. A new company now seems to be targeted by naked shorts. At least that's what a CEO and a former Amex vice president are alleging. Well, allege this. It's happening. Collective Audience stock has a rather steady share price since 2021, $10 to $11. Shares of the advertising company rose to more than $27, actually $38, per share on Wednesday, October 25th, before getting halted and crashing to its current 150, that at the time it was written. CEO Brent Sun has since purchased 190,000 shares of CAUD stock. I think he purchased another 70,000 as well, but claims there seems to be a high probability of fraud at play here. There's fraud. Quote, NASDAQ halted trading on October 25, attributable to a non-qualified float below 500,000 shares. However, on November 3rd and 6th, the float was still 61,000 shares. And the price had fallen from $27 down to $5.31, down 80%. They let it trade then. NASDAQ did not halt the stock during that time, Sun told Frank Ness. Collective Audience's partners are now on the financial partners are now on the radar as suspects through an official investigation. My eyesight, though an official investigation has yet to be announced by the company. And that's the problem. That's the one risk, is these board members, just like other board members, are so cautious. They don't really believe it. They listen to the lawyers. That's the one risk. I don't think it's going to happen because Brent's on the board. And I think Peter Boards is better than that. One scenario states that CAUD's partners may have sold company shares at the top, financial partners at the top, and then began shorting the company as prices began to plunge, causing further devaluation. They just started shorting, and they never stopped. There was 50 million in volume, and you'll see Tony disagrees with me. He's here. I find it very hard to believe that 20 million of that, 25 million of that is not counterfeit shares. The second scenario sheds light on the possibility of naked short selling. The CEO has a strong concern that hedge funds may have collectively shorted the company naked after the surge on October 25th. Tony Fort, former vice president of Trading Analysis Division at Amex, reached out to Frank Nez to confirm irregularities in the trading of collective audience stock. Now, Tony's retired now. I speak to him frequently. He and I have some differences on the magnitude of what goes on. But I think Tony remembers a time when Amex was a good organization. I think it got bought by, just like NASDAQ used to be good. But Amex, I think, got bought by NYSE. Doesn't really exist anymore. I used to go, I had a friend down on the trading floor of Amex. I loved going to visit him when I was in New York. I've lost track of him, but he was such a good guy. He would bring me around. I'd meet the different books, where people actually had money at risk to be market makers. And it was fascinating. One person would handle 3 or 4 stocks or more, just depended. It's not like that anymore. And we don't need market makers anymore. So Tony Forte is quoted as saying, quote, "Over the last few years, I have closely followed the trading activity in Logic, LGIQ, prior to and after the spinoff of DataLogic into Aubrey SPAC. I strongly believe at least 2/3 of the floating supply is held by shareholders who have no intention of selling any of their shares until CAUD is trading at much higher prices. That conclusion would reduce the current floating supply to under 1.2 million shares. I think it's less than that. So 1.2 million, according to Tony, is the float. I think it might be half of that or less. The substantial and continuous selling in CAUD appears to be the result of computerized trading based on sell-side algorithms accompanied by short selling, most likely naked, by market makers and large investors," unquote, Forte shared with Frank Nez. The computerized trading was particularly evident on December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. Dive, dive, dive. At 10:10 a.m., the last sale in CAUD was $2.10. From 10:10 through 10:15, 5 minutes, the stock declined to $1.82, down 28 cents on trading volume of 113,995 shares. During that 5-minute time span, there were 576 trades. But Adina Friedman smiles, collects $2.5 million a month, and does F-ball, nothing to protect CEOs, companies, or retail traders. She's a joke. Talentless. Not only is she a joke, she has no talent. She is not a leader. But hey, we got to even up. It's not fair that men have all the jobs. In order for the algorithm computerized trading to show a profit in CAUD, which has a very small float, there would have to be at least 4 to 5 firms utilizing that strategy. That raises the question of working in concert, unquote. So there's apparently 2, if not 3 hedge funds that gave the $5 million to Aubrey SPAC, leaving Aubrey SPAC with $100,000 to navigate its future. That right there is an indication that these people wanted to attack the stock of the price of the stock. Anyway, Frank Nez did a great job here. Tony did a great job, and Brent's son did a great job in this story. So that was the other story I read. All right, I wanted to read one other to you. which just breaks my heart. But this doesn't matter to Maxine Waters. This doesn't matter to Maxine Waters. Uh-oh, I hope it's still here. The stupid refreshed, and the story may be gone. Let me look if I can find it. Otherwise, I'll just Google it. But Maxine Waters, the big promoter of how awful it is for minorities and the poor, and how everything is based on the color of your skin. She doesn't care what hedge funds do, because she lives in a wealthy subdivision and she has massive wealth. She doesn't even live in her district. And she pouts now that the Republicans barely control Congress. Yeah, I lost the article. Well, let's see if I go backwards. Go backwards. No, all right. Let me just do it this way. I can find it on another news. I'll use CNN. You guys trust CNN. I don't. You can't get there from here. That's the increasing problem facing around 60 million people, Maxine Waters doesn't care, who depend on intercity buses. Intercity buses like Greyhound, Trailways, and Megabus, intercity bus lines, an overlooked but essential part of America's transportation system, carry twice the number of people who take Amtrak every year. God, CNN has terrible writers. Anyway, but the whole network faces a growing crisis. Greyhound and other private companies' bus terminals are rapidly closing around the country. Houston, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Tampa, Louisville, Charlottesville, Portland, Oregon, and other downtown bus depots have shuttered in recent years. Bus terminals in major hubs like Chicago and Dallas are also set to close. Greyhound and other companies have relocated their stops far away from city centers, which are often inaccessible. The new stops. This is a terrible writer. See who wrote this. Nathaniel Meyerson. I mean, he's a good writer, but he needs to improve a little bit for clarity. But anyway, I'm not a great writer. They've relocated their stops far away from city centers, and therefore they're often inaccessible by public transit. And they have switched to curbside service or just eliminated routes altogether. These stations were built decades ago and are shuttering because of high operating costs, government underfunding, and surprisingly, the entrance of an investment firm buying up Greyhound's real estate for lucrative resale. Anyway, the article goes on. You can look it up. And roughly 3/4 of intercity bus riders have annual incomes of less than $40,000. More than a quarter would not make the trip if bus service were not available. Anyway. Intercity bus riders are also are mostly minorities, people with disabilities, and unemployed travelers. The terminal closures have been accelerating as Greyhound sells its valuable terminals to investors, including the investment firm hedge fund Alden Global Capital. Last year, Alden's subsidiary 20 Lakes Holdings purchased 33 Greyhound stations for $140 million US. Alden is best known for buying up local newspapers and selling the iconic buildings. Chicago Tribune, New York Daily News, Baltimore Sun, cut the staff, sell the building. Alden has started to sell the Greyhound depots to real estate developers, speeding up the timetable for closures. I don't know the specific details of each building, but it is clear what is happening. An important piece of transit infrastructure is being sacrificed in the name of higher profits, said Stein von Neuerberg, a professor of real estate at Columbia Business School. The hedge fund didn't respond to requests for comment. The public sector has turned a cold shoulder to buses. We subsidize public transit abundantly, but we don't see this as an extension of our transit system. So anyway, that hits me because how do people get around? You know, you go to Europe, you can get around London all day long without a car. You can get to Paris without a car. You can get around Europe without a car. But here in the United States, if you're a minority, no one cares. And the locations are sold to hedge funds. Everything for a fast buck. Everything for a fast buck. Let me see what the last one I had. I may not find the other one. I may not find the other one. Well, this is an interesting article. Comes from QTR's Fringe Finance. The Fed-enabled apartment bubble is unraveling. This came out on December 15th by Artis Shepard and at the Mize Institute. The apartment investment industry has experienced severe malinvestment over the last several years, resulting in a massive bubble that has only recently begun to deflate with rising interest rate. A tidal wave of easy money enabled by the Federal Reserve and 4 consecutive United States administrations, from George W. Bush to Joe Biden, drastically lowered the barriers to entry. As a result, even those with no investment acumen have raised and used other people's money for complex, high-risk projects like buying, developing, and managing apartment buildings. Bridge loans, a natural outgrowth of enormous amounts of liquidity, searching for yield in an environment with zero interest rate policy, have facilitated this process. The results should not be surprising, and to some they aren't. Scrutinizing the Fed-driven malinvestment in the apartment industry involves highlighting 2 separate but closely held related phenomena: syndication and bridge loans. Syndication involves the pooling of capital from various sources to execute an investment. However, during the recent apartment bubble, this practice degenerated significantly. Syndicators often showed a lack of expertise in the industry, raised money anonymously online, heavily relied on marketing and technology, and demonstrated limited risk awareness. as opportunities in the world of easy money and widespread malinvestment, opportunists in that world of malinvestment, these syndicators took advantage of a nominally wealthy but unsophisticated investor pool to acquire properties that these syndicators intended to quickly flip, riding a wave of speculative asset inflation and earning substantial fees with each closed transaction, whether it was an acquisition, refinance, or sale. However, syndication would not have been possible without the ubiquity of bridge loans. During the peak of the apartment bubble, which took place basically from 2020 to 2022, syndicators emerged as the primary users of bridge loans, short-term floating rate, high leverage loans with essentially no lending criteria, which were used to fund 90% of the apartment acquisition activity during the period. Syndicators rushed in to outbid for apartment properties, and with virtually no credit standards to meet, they borrowed as much as they could use using these bridge loans. Ostensibly, the sole investment rationale at play was the bigger fool strategy, a bet that loose monetary policy would never go away, thus fueling continued asset inflation and allowing the syndicators to flip these properties to even bigger fools. While they lasted, the bubble conditions and bridge loans enabled these aggressively rent-seeking but otherwise dim-witted syndicators to earn significant fees for themselves and build up massive assets under management. Research published by TREP, T-R-E-P-P, a leading provider of loan analytics for commercial real estate, have revealed insightful findings. They analyzed the portfolios of Tides Equities, GVA Real Estate Group, Nitya Capital, ZMR Capital, and Rise 48 Equity. The results have been both enlightening and utterly predictable. Across the 5 syndicators mentioned, 96.3% of these loans were taken out on a floating rate basis. These syndicators were either ignorant of the risks associated with increasing interest rates or simply assumed that the rates would stay at all-time lows for the foreseeable future. Same as the bankers, so-called bankers at SVM. There was only one quasi-banker on the board. The rest were Democratic Party donors. And Sharon Stone got up and said she lost all their money. And then the Fed, what's her name at the Treasury, bailed them out. Janet Yellen, another supremely unqualified individual. Looking at the right column shows the impact of rising interest rates. Interest rates did not stay at all-time lows as the Fed began raising them in mid-2022. The investments which used floating rate loans were barely covering interest and principal payments. For every $1.04 generated in income, the investment had to pay $1 of debt service. These numbers are certainly worse today because the benchmark interest rates have increased further since TREP performed its research. The next table shows the maturity profile of the syndicator's loans. What's apparent here is that nearly 40% of these floating rate loans mature in the next 12 months, and over 80% mature in the next 18 months. The drastically lower transaction volume in the apartment market today is, at least partially, a product of smart money waiting on the sidelines for this distress to play out in the near term, potentially offering compelling value to those who wish to pick at these carcasses. The last thing Trepp compiled down is related to cash reserves held by the syndicators. Just like families who maintain savings account or rainy day funds, apartment investors also maintain cash reserves in the event of revenue generation suffering, which would harm their ability to make loan payments out of current income. Just like the prudent family reduces current consumption to keep their savings high, the more experienced and risk-conscious investors do the same with cash reserve. A healthy reserve balance is equal to around 10% of the loan amount. In the case of these 5 syndicators, 45% of the loans have reserves less than 1% of the loan balance, while 77% of the loans have reserves of less than 5%. And he set up here a healthy reserve balance is around 10%. Furthermore, lenders are likely to draw down any available reserves in the meantime to service debt until loan maturity, meaning most or all of those reserves will be gone by the time the loan maturity rolls around. Lacking any significant reserves, while unable to service debt, fully half of these loans appear to be unsalvageable, amounting over to $600 million in investor equity wiped out by just these 5 syndicators when lenders ultimately foreclose on the underlying properties. As Warren Buffett observed, only when the tide goes out do you learn who's been swimming naked. Syndicators like these were always swimming naked. However, they were never meant to be real estate investors in the first place. Bridge loans, a spawn of the easy money, zero interest rate era, allowed and enabled the individuals with the highest time preference to engage in activities that, done properly, require distinctly low time preference combined with a set of technical skills. I have a certain set of skills. The result is an industry turned upside down, chock full of bad loans, which will take years to unwind. Artis Shepard is founder and managing partner of a private equity firm based in Dallas, Fort Worth. Worked in the Middle East and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, all right, I'll leave it. There was another article, but I'll just leave it at that. I can't find the other one. Maybe I erased it. Maybe I erased it. Let me just check. There's some things I don't want to get into. All right, I'll answer questions. It's risky. This is risky. This is risky. Yeah, that's pretty risky. Well, I'll quote it. This is Israeli Defense Minister. Yoav Gallant. Quote, Gaza won't return to what it was before. We will eliminate everything, unquote. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant says the Israeli Defense Forces are moving to full offense. Quote, Gaza won't return to what it was before. We will eliminate everything, unquote. I didn't say it. So we worry about losing money in our accounts. There's 2.6 million people wondering if they don't have water, they don't have medicine, they don't have food. They wonder where they're going to live. Sinai Desert, in the middle of the Mediterranean, Arizona. United States isn't going to take them. I wish we would. UK, they're not going to take them. Jordan, maybe. How do they get to Jordan? They can't get to Jordan. And then Jordan, the Arab countries don't seem to really want to do anything. But it's a human tragedy on a gigantic scale. Of course, it was tragic on a just heart-wrenching scale what happened on October 7th. So I don't want to get in the middle of either side. But all right, let's go your questions. Great call. Not gave one good joke, I thought, or somebody called out Not for a good joke. Maybe it was somebody else said it. My ex, I can't remember. It's something about my ex. Meow mix, meow, 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 meow. Alfred, we did talk about GTII. We talked about it quite a bit. So you obviously didn't listen. And you're gone. Now you're gone. All right. Jenny, have you eaten? Water? Rest? Oh, I have water. It's 2:44. I'll go to 3 o'clock, Jenny. I have dinner tonight with my sister and my brother and my stepmother for Christmas. So I'll eat tonight, but I'll walk lucky. Hey, Donna. Jenny is feeling better, and that is because all of your prayers were answered. All right, here's, I like that. Has not legal advice ever given us any good jokes? That's very good. I think he's had one or two. Jenny L. Hey, Patel. Hey, Dips. Sorry. I'm recovering. Long road ahead, but I got to find humor in things. It helps make the journey easier. Yeah. Yeah, it does. My computer is slow. That's nice. Jenny L, you're very strong. So happy to see you're getting better. What's CGen? Wow, CGen. Let me write that one down. We have to add to our list of potential buys for next week. Not that I have a lot of squid. It's annoying. Let's look at how GDC is trading. 299. Let's see how GTII is trading. 41. Firming up. Let's see how Finger's trading. Up 16, 392. Let's see how Logic is trading. Wow, it's up 0.0011, 0.031. Actually, that's the bid. So Logic is finally showing some strength. And I told you that it's just a question of when. it's going to be bought. That shell is going to be bought. Do you know the state of Florida? Well, that's true. It's true. I actually think when I went into congressmen and senators' offices with Ham, with Lou from New York, with uh, mm, oh gee whiz, I want to say Kevin, but I could be wrong. The pilot from Boston, with Sada Aman, with Syntex, with Anna, with LT, with the real estate agent from either Florida or Maryland, Rowena. And I know I'm forgetting others. Oh, with two guys that I think I can say JR, but I'm not sure I'm supposed to say the other name. Anyway, we went around and uh, every time I went into an office and it was my turn to speak, I would always emphasize taxes, taxes. I figured that's what Congress would want to hear about. I'd emphasize tax dollars. Breathe. Breathe deep. The gathering gloom. Watched lights fade from across the room. Drive the truck through the SEC. That's a good way to get arrested. Reaping or ripping, the CNN interviewers. Yeah, he's done a pretty good job. He's not quite my cup of tea. Maybe I'm just yellows because he's young. But he's combative, and I know he has to be combative to get attention. I think, Trump. I don't think they're going to let Trump win, and it'll be one of the fairest elections ever. But if he does win, he's going to need a vice president because, look, they interrupted Trump's 8 years, so one term interrupted, new term if it happens. But the only way to make the new term not a dead duck, is that the word, dead duck term, lame duck term, is that the vice president carries enough weight that they will win. And I think the odds are he's going to pick a woman. But Vivek might be a good one. I'd like to see Sarah Huckabee or I don't know. I'm not convinced about Nome, but maybe Nome. Trying to think the other ones on the list. Yeah, I think I'd go with Sarah Huckabee, but she's not. She's that's the problem. The Republicans, everyone looks white, and that makes it a weakness. I don't think people are as racist in the Republican Party as it's portrayed, but there's no question that there's not as much variety. But I really like Donald's out of New York, but he's a guy, so I don't know. Anyway, if it were me, I'd either pick Donald's or Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I think that, or RFK. I would like that. Van Gogh. Oh, he did have eye conditions, so I might be onto something. I might be onto something. Uh, Attached way, Willie, lot disproportionally to most. I couldn't say that word. Disproportionately. Disproportionate. Oh God, you've got me. All right. Hey, Abu, Razik, Kifek. All right, I'm at the end. Just noticed GDC has a PE of 2.25. That makes it profitable. Jenny Rebecca is about to say nag, nag, nag. All right, let's go. I've only got 8 minutes because Jenny is going to hound me. You hound this man, Josie Wales. You hound him to kingdom come. MULN 0.0961. Gosh. MMAT 0.0715. Remember, a lot of these stocks might have January bounces, but I'm worried about MULN now. Vocal 0.0086. Let's see what ZJYL 118, 113 to 119. CLNV is still on my list. 0.0384. It's in the red. CAUD 131.91. It hit as low as 126. The criminals are going to try to get that under $1. I'm not sure they'll be successful, but now's the time to try while the tax loss season is here. The risks in CAUD are the board, whose names are Peter Boards, Nadine Watt, Elizabeth DeMars, Dennis Duncan, Christopher Hart, and Brett Sun, along with the CEO, who is Peter Boards. Well, I don't know. I assume he's on the board. That's a good point. But anyway, if they listen to Aubrey Spack, the lawyers for Aubrey Spack, Caldron Financial, I'll get that name. I have it here. You can look it up. And or Polar Hedge Fund with the other one or two hedge funds. If they listen to advice from there, there's going to be no difference with this company and MULN, MMAT, GNS. Why? Because they'll take the deal. They'll take the deal. But I think it will be different. I think Brent Sun will be forceful, and he has put bounties out on the criminal shorts. I think Peter Boards has an amazing track record, and I think he is a different chip off the block, or whatever you want to call it. He's made of sterner stuff than other CEOs. I think Elizabeth DeMars has extraordinarily good qualifications. So I'm optimistic that they will not make decisions based on the canard that this trading in CAUD is just algorithmic and it's normal. It's not normal. It may have been set up from a year ago. Polar may have funded Aubrey Spack or the other two hedge funds or their clients. You have to think like that if you want to win. If you want to fit in with all the other lemmings in the sea or lemmings over the cliff, if fitting in is the way this board wants to go, the company will go down just like the rest of them. And we'll be talking like, oh, gee whiz. I don't think that's going to happen in CAUD. Remember, Data Logic was projected to do 70 million in revenue annualized leaving this year. I don't think they're going to hit it because it's the transition quarter. They'll dump expenses if I were they into this quarter so that Peter Boards and Elizabeth and Nadine and Dennis and Christopher and Brent can start 2024 clean and hit the ground running. But 70 million annualized is better than Finger does right now. I think Finger's going to grow massively. But anyway, so I think CAUD possibly has one or two pieces of news coming out by the end of the year. And I think as we turn around into the new year, CAUD could be a fun trade. I also like Logic and HNRC. If you listen to Ham today, he thinks Finger, they're about to do something. He seemed to think the other day that GTII might have something big coming, but they have a new advisor. My own opinion is that Reichman is an honest guy, and he would have carefully thought out who he hired. But that's a hedge fund guy. That's a derivative guy. And you got to wonder, is he there working on behalf of Alpine and the Kramers? Who knows? I don't think so because I think Reichman, like I say, is a sharp and honest guy. We'll find out. But Ham said, you don't bring on a deal maker unless you got a deal. Makes sense to me. Finger, he talked about a dividend distribution or something else related to the share registration from September 11th. That is less than 90 days ago. And then he has a position in GDC. Yesterday, I paid $309 for GDC. And I had to sell a small bit of a position I didn't want to sell because GDC has a chance to be a runner. Who knows? And that's the thing. You got to play. If it runs, you make a little profit, you put it back in the ones you like. All right. So I've got 1 minute. Jenny's going to say 1 minute. We need competence. Color, sex, etc. should not matter. Ramsey or Huckabee both appear good. Yeah. I agree we need competence. But on the other hand, I can see the argument that over time there was a lot of unfairness. But it's easy for me to say, I guess, but I would like competence in the cockpit. I would like competence deciding about war and all of that. Disproportionately. Dispro here, that pro there. I hate my government. All right, it's 3:00 exactly. So I'm going to thank everyone for being here. I love you, Lucky. I love you. The poor guy, I think, as much as I want him to enjoy life, he might be tottering into the great beyond. I hope not. I hope he's got more time. But man, I worry. All right, Lucky, we'll go walk early, all right? We'll walk early. Anyway, I wish peace to everyone and happiness and love. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year to everybody. Let's pray for peace around the world. I know I harp on that a bit, but I believe prayers work, and I also believe we need peace. If these points of conflict hot up, as they say in the UK, No one will win World War III. No one will win. And we won't even win multiple wars around the world. We, as the United States, we're already losing. We began losing when the Popinjay president went into one desert country. And it's been a long 20 years, but the rest of the world is turning on us so quickly. It seems like the pandemic, everything is sped up after the pandemic. Every change you can think of has sped up. And one of them is the rest of the world is turning on us. I don't think war will redound on the United States very well. So I pray, that's a selfish reason to pray for peace. But I pray for the thousands of children killed in Gaza Strip and Israel over the last 2 months. I pray for the reportedly 400,000 people killed in the Ukraine, 500,000 casualties. It's a lot of people. So I pray for all of them, and I pray for peace. All right, Jenny L., I'm glad that you're feeling better and rambunctious. And I'm glad, I thank everybody for praying for Jenny L. But could you have just done it a little less so she didn't snap back with nag, nag, nag? Just kidding. I'm glad you're back up on your feisty self. Back up on your feisty self. Peace to all. Thank you. All right, cheers. We'll see you tomorrow.